The following video is brought to you by Square Enix, who let me come out and play the game early, so I know all the things. Hey there gang, it's Jesse, and a promise is a promise. I told you in the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo video that I would answer your questions about the stuff I got to play when I went to Square Enix to play the real game, and so here I am with a whole bunch of questions and hopefully some answers. And again, thank you all for watching me play the demo. I know everyone and their brother was doing that thing, so it's very nice that you stop by, watch the demo, ask some questions. I love you for that. So let's get down to this. Question number 1 comes from Naef. Is Final Fantasy VII ready to play, or is it still in beta mode? As far as I'm aware, what I played was the game. There were saves that could go to different parts of the game if I wanted to, or I could just play through, which I did. I just kept playing. It seemed to me like it was the real game. However, it could be a build of the game that is not the final launch build. So that's quite a possibility as well. But from what I saw, it appeared to be the real game, which goes into question number 2. And question number 2 is from Hybrid Moon. Well, obviously I gotta ask, what was removed from the demo? So my answer goes back to my reasoning behind answer number 1, which was when you go to the elevator and Jesse's like, "So, do you know Tifa?" In the demo, a scene was removed that I saw in the game that I had played, in which Cloud has a flashback, and I could describe it to you, but thankfully, they let me record this bit, so here you go.
Cloud! Are you ignoring me?
Pretty interesting, huh? I love how they're giving you tidbits of the story and fleshing things out much earlier than they do in normal Final Fantasy VII. The question I have is, if this game is just Midgar, all these things that we're seeing are alluding to events that won't happen until Final Fantasy VII 2? I don't know how this is all going to play out, and I don't know the timeline of release, let alone, we'll talk about it later. I'm sure there are questions related to it, but it brings up some valid questions that I do have for the devs, should I get a chance to talk to them. Oh, and perfect. Question number 3 is, has the story been spruced up to be really good? I know you must not have gone that deep, but what do you think? So the stuff that I saw that I'm not allowed to actually show you, thankfully Square Enix gave me some B-roll that I can use so you can kind of get an idea of what I had played. After you blow up Reactor 1, but really Shinra blows it up, which I think is a great story beat that was not in the original, you see the aftermath of the streets of Midgar, and you see buildings collapsed, and people dead on the streets, and children crying, and chaos everywhere, and guards and police looking for the terrorists who blew it up, and you're on the run, and it's this very cool scene where, yes, you meet Aerith, and yes, you go through the whole thing of let's get back to 7th Heaven, but there's also some things that happen to Cloud that remind him of certain events. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And that memory triggers something that is very, very cool and totally not in the original. And so moments like that definitely happen. But also, they expand upon moments. There's a great example where at one point, you're in the sewers and Aerith and Tifa are knocked out, and you wake up, you've been knocked out too, and you see the two of them, and you have to make a choice about which one to wake up first. And whoever you wake up first, you get a special little dialogue scene with them, and sort of like a romancy thing, which I love. It also makes it incredibly hard, and I hate them for making us have to make that choice, but that's what you have to do. Things like that are phenomenal, and I'm really excited they exist. Oh boy. And in keeping with questions that are very important, Bob wants to know, has cross-dressing Cloud made it into the game? Yep. Have you not seen the trailer? The new trailer for the game? Oh my god. Go watch that. It's definitely in there, and it looks fabulous. Our next question comes from Popple789. Ooh, we're getting into mechanics now. Does Materia still level up, or does it function differently? From what I could tell, it does level up. And if you, just as an example, look at Cloud's back on his sword, that little green orby, that is one of the materia that he has slotted into his weapon. As you play through the game, you will find materia, you can equip it, it has different spells you can learn, and later on, I played a battle with Aerith, Tifa, and Cloud, and in that, you could see some of the upgraded spells. I'm not sure if it was called Cure 2 or Cura at the time, but Aerith has a higher level Cure spell, and even though in the B-roll that they gave me, it doesn't show her use it, you can see where it says Cure, there's an arrow next to it, and if you click over, that will let you use the higher spell. So it is in the game, and you can learn them. The next question comes from Dasutin. Playing through the demo, the game feels very hit square for a few minutes until this dies. Should I expect this to be alleviated once more skills are available, or be prepared for some spongy combat? From what I could tell, the further I got into the game, the more I delved into the save files they had prepared. The combat gets much more tactical. However, no matter what, at the end of the day, you still have to get your ATB up, which means you're going to be hitting square. That's just a fact. There are other things you can do that will make that happen, and I wonder if there's maybe a materia or an item that you can get that will start you with ATB once the battle begins, rather than you having to get it up before you actually can do anything cool in the battle. I will say, it never really bugged me. I always had fun because it looked really cool to attack stuff, but there are some moments where I genuinely think there's the potential for it to snowball into catastrophe. And a great example is, I played through once on the boss that is in the demo, and I think Cloud died in a really stupid way. And when I went to go resurrect him, I used my Phoenix down, he popped up, but neither Cloud nor Barret had any ATB left. So Cloud had 200-ish life, and this damn scorpion thing starts launching rockets. Immediately kills Cloud. So now I'm totally overwhelmed, and I'm stressing about what to do, and once that sets in a combat system like this, where you have no ATB, you have to wait for it to get back up, your characters are dying, a character dies again, you get your ATB, you resurrect the character, and now you have no ATB to make sure that character is healed, like that kind of thing is stressful. And I can understand how if you are freaking out about the moment, you might forget certain aspects of the game like dodge or block, which honestly I've done, right? You can watch it in my footage. Like, there are probably moments where I should have blocked, where I just didn't because I was like, oh my god, I'm trying to heal you, but I can't heal you. And I think that makes the game more stressful for people who are just learning. But once you get the rhythm of it, once you understand the basic gameplay mechanics, I feel like that will even out and not be as bad as it potentially could be. But going back to your original question, yeah, as far as I can tell, at the end of the day, Square is needed to do anything. And so you're gonna have to press it whether you like it or not, whether that makes you happy or not. The next question comes from Serenus. Oh, we're getting back to more story stuff. Do you know if there are any more side conversations that you come across in the main game, like the one between Jesse and Biggs in the demo? Stuff like that really makes the game and the characters that you wouldn't normally care about feel more alive and interesting. The answer is yes. Even though I have no footage of it, there are a lot of moments like that, especially in that one scene I talked about where you're going through the city and it's chaos. There are so many side conversations between people on the street, between security officers. There are broadcasts throughout the city that are announcing like Shinra is looking for these terrorists, and it's news updates and things like that that are broadcasting. There are people trying to help victims of the explosion. You have different side conversations with your friends as you make your way through the area, and you can see soldiers talking about it as you sneak past them and stuff. Moments like that are plentiful in this game. So yeah, they really are doing a great job at fleshing out the story and making everything feel more alive. The next question is from Jim, who says, are all the battles you've seen scripted, or are you aware of random battles a player can use to grind? Great question. I've been thinking about that for a while. Every battle I saw was one where you actually see the enemies and can engage them, which I don't know if that means they're scripted, based on, you run into a room and then a battle starts, versus you see some guys and you can engage them. Because, for example, going back to the aftermath of the explosion, when you're going around the city, you can engage with enemies that you don't really have to. One of them, for example, was I saw some guys next to a materia that I wanted on the ground, and so I just killed those dudes and took it. And I wouldn't call that a scripted fight. I'm curious if, for example, those guys that I fought and killed, if there's a place I could go to that would reset them so I could come back and kill them again. That I do not know. And I saw no sign of that, but it's possible. I have no clue. I guess we will find out together. The next question comes from Cynthia. Can you change equipment like swords, guns, gauntlets, like the character models? Do they change, or are they just upgrading the Buster Sword and the animations stay the same? You'll be happy to know there are different weapons. You can equip them. They look different. They have different materia slots. They have different abilities associated with them. Yes. Do I have any footage of it? Nope. Shankmaster. Oh, Shankmaster with that good question. I'm really curious how summons work. Do they only become available in boss fights? Can you use them at any point in combat? Or do they require ATB to use? By the way, great video. Yo, thank you. Of course there are summons. I only think you can use them in battle. And yes, they require ATB. There is a summon bar that fills up over the course of a battle, and then you can use it when you filled up one of your free ATB slots. And then you have access to the abilities of that summon through the ATB for a period of time during that fight. And then eventually the summon uses a superpower at the end to really hammer the enemy once it runs out of like summon power. And then you have to fill up the summoning bar again through the battle. It looks really cool. I got to see Leviathan, Ifrit, and Shiva. I don't have footage of Shiva, but she looks just like she always looks. But as you're seeing right now, Ifrit and Leviathan are doing their thing, and it looks really cool. So hopefully that makes you happy. And we come to it at last, our final question, and I think probably the most important question for the Q&A. Will you be doing a Let's Play the full game when it launches? But of course I'm going to play this. I don't know what capacity, be it on stream or here on YouTube or both. I have no idea. But yes, I would be letting myself down as a Final Fantasy fan who has played every single one for the last, I don't know, 29 years of my life, we'll say. I very much am excited for this. I can't wait to see how they retell the story. Let's be real. I know a lot of people are going to be like, I don't know if this combat system is the way I like my combat systems. At the end of the day, Final Fantasy games have always been about the experience and the story, and that's what I'm here for. And I know I'm a different gamer than other gamers, and we all have things we love. But for me, I want to see the way they retell the Final Fantasy VII story, and I am open to the new experience, and I cannot wait. And of course, I would love to share that with you. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Square Enix for letting me play early. Thank you to everyone out there for all the questions. We are just a few short weeks away, and I cannot wait to see what happens, what this game is like. Y'all, where does this end? What does the second one look like? I don't even know. This is supposed to be like 40 some hours. How do you do it just in the city? I don't even know what my complete thoughts are on this, but I know I'm excited. I'm excited to jump in and excited to play. So thank you all. We'll see you guys next time. And as always, to be continued.
You know, where's the payoff? Bring the strippers and booze. We do occasionally talk about video games. Bring the strippers and booze. Not enough time for video games. Bring the strippers and booze.
Oh, thank God, I don't need pants now.
Hey, JC, what are you doing? Not much. Making a fortune.
Yeah, now sing the music.
Bring the strippers and booze.
I'm here to ask and answer one simple question.